Let's talk about the fact that Democrats have been labeling President Trump a to democracy for the better half of 10 years. Let's talk about how they have compared him to one of the worst mass in the history of the world, and that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden weaponized the court system and the justice system in this country against Donald Trump in an attempt to imprison him. He sat through a courthouse for 7 weeks this past year, and the Democrats were hoping he would go to jail for it. That is real political that has led to 2 heinous attempts on President Trump's life that, by the grace of God, he was able to escape, and he is here with us today. So yes, President Trump knows a little bit about political because he's experienced it himself. And talking about the tragic realities of war that Liz Cheney and her father Dick Cheney have got this country into is not political. It's talking about the reality of the foreign conflicts that the Washington, D.C. establishment have sold out young Americans to for decades.
Crosses the line, again. Joy Behar is no stranger to controversy, but this time, she may have gone too far. On a recent episode of The View, Behar made a shocking remark that sparked widespread accusations of sexism. Her target? Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's 27-year-old press secretary. Instead of addressing Leavitt's credentials, experience, or political stance, Behar reduced her to nothing more than her appearance, stating, "I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. The comment immediately set off a firestorm of criticism, not just from conservatives, but from people across the political spectrum. Why? Because Joy Behar, a self-proclaimed feminist who has built her career on advocating for women's empowerment, did the very thing she claims to stand against, dismissing a young female professional based solely on her looks. It wasn't just a cheap insult directed at Leavitt, it was an affront to every woman who has worked tirelessly to be recognized for her skills, intelligence, and hard work rather than her physical appearance. Social media erupted with backlash, and critics wasted no time calling out the glaring hypocrisy. One user summed up the outrage perfectly. Joy Behar accuses Caroline Leavitt of being hired for her looks. Isn't this the very sexism The View claims to stand against? The outrage wasn't just about Behar's remark itself, it was about what it represented. For years, The View has positioned itself as a champion for women's rights and gender equality. Yet time and time again, its hosts have openly demeaned and ridiculed conservative women, exposing a double standard that viewers are growing increasingly frustrated with. If The View truly stands for women's empowerment, then why does that support seem to disappear the moment a woman holds a different political belief? Caroline Leavitt fights back. While many expected Leavitt to ignore the insult or downplay the controversy, she did the opposite. She came prepared, armed with facts, confidence, and poise. Instead of allowing Behar's sexist jab to define her, Leavitt turned the tables, completely dismantling the accusation and exposing The View's hypocrisy in real time. Even Whoopi Goldberg, usually quick to back up her co-hosts, appeared caught off guard by Leavitt's strong and unwavering response. At one point, Goldberg attempted to derail the conversation, but Leavitt refused to be silenced. Instead of backing down or losing composure, she stayed firm, ensuring that the real issue, the blatant double standard in how The View treats women, remained front and center. Viewers took notice. Social media exploded with praise for how Leavitt handled the moment, with many calling it one of the most powerful pushbacks against The View's bias in recent memory, The View's double standard exposed. But Leavitt didn't stop at defending herself. She went further, calling out The View for its long history of demeaning conservative women. She pointed to past incidents where the show's hosts ridiculed women like Kayleigh McEnany and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, questioning whether The View truly supports women or only those who align with their political ideology. The View loves to claim they're all about lifting women up, Leavitt said, but the second a woman doesn't align with their leftist ideology, they demean her in the exact way they claim to oppose. This wasn't just a casual observation, it was a direct challenge to The View's credibility. If the show truly stood for empowering women, why did its hosts continually resort to personal attacks on women who didn't fit their political mold? Whoopi Goldberg loses control. As the discussion escalated, Whoopi Goldberg attempted to shift the narrative, launching into a fiery rant about wokeness. She brought up a past comment from Leavitt, where she had stated, "There will be no wokeness here." This remark seemed to hit a nerve with Goldberg, who passionately defended wokeness, arguing that it has been instrumental in driving social progress. However, in her attempt to control the conversation, Goldberg overlooked a key point. Many Americans now see wokeness as a divisive ideology that alienates more people than it unites. Rather than engaging in a constructive discussion on the issue, Goldberg resorted to condescending remarks, suggesting that Levitt lacked the knowledge or understanding of history to have an informed opinion. Ironically, by speaking down to Levitt, Goldberg unintentionally reinforced the very criticisms often leveled at wokeness, that it can come across as elitist, dismissive, and unwilling to engage in open debate. But this moment wasn't just about one heated exchange, it became a turning point. This time, The View didn't just face criticism, it faced outright condemnation. The backlash was swift, intense, and impossible to ignore the fallout. As clips of the exchange went viral, it became clear that The View had miscalculated. Instead of discrediting Levitt, they had given her a massive platform to expose their double standards. Viewers who may not have been familiar with her before were now seeing her as a confident, articulate figure who refused to back down in the face of media bias. Even some of The View's usual defenders struggled to justify Behar's comments, with many acknowledging that she had crossed the line. The episode left a lasting impression, not just because of Behar's initial remark, but because of what it revealed about The View's ongoing credibility problem. Joy Behar may have intended to belittle Caroline Levitt, but in the end, she only succeeded in exposing her own hypocrisy. And this time, the backlash won't be fading anytime soon. Humiliation backfires, The View faces major backlash. Far from undermining Caroline Levitt as they may have hoped, The View only succeeded in discrediting themselves. Footage of Joy Behar's sexist remarks and Levitt's commanding rebuttal went viral almost immediately after the broadcast, igniting a firestorm on social media. Viewers across the political spectrum denounced the show's blatant bias and hypocrisy. Even those who disagreed with Levitt's politics conceded that Behar's comments were completely inappropriate and praised Levitt for her poise, intelligence, and measured handling of the situation. The fallout extended far beyond social media. Major media outlets quickly picked up the controversy, highlighting The View's escalating credibility problem. The scandal exposed a growing disillusionment with the show's supposed commitment to women's empowerment, something many now see as selective at best. Behind the scenes at ABC, a growing crisis. Meanwhile, behind closed doors at ABC, the atmosphere was growing tense. According to insider sources, network executives were caught completely off guard by the backlash and were anything but pleased. There's real concern at the top about whether keeping Joy Behar is worth the constant PR nightmares, one insider revealed. While controversy has long been part of The View's brand, there's a crucial distinction between sparking debate and alienating audiences. This time they crossed that line. Massively, ratings for The View have already been declining, and moments like this only make matters worse. The growing public backlash isn't just about one episode, it's a reflection of shifting perceptions. Advertisers, wary of being associated with such polarizing content, are reportedly growing uneasy. ABC executives are now questioning whether Behar's presence is more of a liability than an asset. One insider put it bluntly. The execs are sick of cleaning up after Joy's messes, and they're seriously starting to consider a shakeup. This might be the final straw. Could this mean Joy Behar's days on The View are numbered? While nothing is confirmed, the internal frustration at ABC suggests that real change may be on the horizon, a larger media problem. But this controversy isn't just about Joy Behar, it exposes a much bigger problem in today's media landscape. What happened to Caroline Levitt on The View is far from an isolated incident. It's part of a troubling trend in how mainstream media treats conservative women. Time and time again, articulate, intelligent women like Kayleigh McEnany, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and Elise Stefanik have faced condescension, personal attacks, and outright dismissal, simply for holding different political views. Media platforms like The View claim to champion women's empowerment, but their support often seems conditional. Instead of engaging in meaningful debates or acknowledging the accomplishments of women they disagree with, they resort to demeaning remarks and cheap shots. This hypocrisy doesn't just harm the individuals targeted, it undermines the very principles of feminism and equality that these platforms claim to uphold. The bipartisan backlash against The View proves that audiences are no longer willing to tolerate this double standard. More and more people are seeing through the bias and demanding real accountability from media institutions that claim to represent all voices, but in reality, only uplift those who align with their ideology. The turning point? Caroline Levitt didn't just win the exchange, she exposed The View in a way that even its most loyal defenders couldn't ignore. The conversation is no longer about one offhand remark, it's about a growing frustration with media hypocrisy, and if the outrage over this incident is any indication, people are no longer willing to stay silent about it. Caroline Levitt didn't just defend herself against The View, she turned the tables, calling out their hypocrisy and using their attack as an opportunity to highlight a much larger issue in today's media landscape. This controversy isn't just about one offhand remark or one host's misstep, It speaks to a broader pattern of how conservative voices, especially women, are treated in spaces that claim to value diversity, empowerment, and open dialogue. With ABC scrambling for damage control and viewers demanding accountability, this moment could be a turning point. Will The View finally rethink its approach, or will they double down on the same divisive tactics that have alienated so many? One thing is certain, Caroline Leavitt emerged from this stronger than ever, while The View may find it far more difficult to recover from this blow. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.